everyone, Rebecca here. I hope you're doing well. I'm just taking some time to have a really nice, gentle, slow sewing day today. I've got a couple of things in mind, but not setting any big goals, just gonna see how I go. It's one of those days where the energy is low, headache lurking, all those just little things that make you feel a bit yucky, but it feels worse just to sit around and do nothing. So I'm just going to go nice and slow and gentle, be kind to myself, be kind to my fabric, and see where I get. Here we go. I have been working on my second version of the Elemental pencil skirt from Sew House 7. It is actually a free pattern. I really like knit fabrics. They just feel nice on my body. So the first one I made, I had a little fiddle around with the sizing and grading from waist to hips, because my hips are definitely a lot wider than my waist, and I really liked the skirt. It was a bright tomato red, fabulous, but it was static on me straight away, which that often happens to me with fabrics. So this is one of my brand new French terries from Dupes Design, and just working with it makes me smile because it feels great and it's really fun. Okay, So I've got my elastic in successfully. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. And it's going to fit. I did try the skirt on and checked that the elastic fitted in there, and now I've just sewed up the little hole that I had left where I'd inserted the elastic. That is not the method they recommend. The first time I followed the Sew House 7 instructions and didn't love the method of putting the elastic waistband in, but I also didn't love the way that I did it. I think the way Sew House 7 suggested was neater. This was possibly a little bit faster. Okay, so now I'm just going to go around my waistband a couple of times to make sure the elastic's not going to turn. It will hold it into place, and I'm going to put in one of these little patchwork labels, and it's just being held into place with this double-sided tape that comes out in the glue, comes out in the wash. My sister gave it to me for Christmas, and at the time I thought, oh, I'll just use pins, I won't use that. Well, I'm loving it. I've used about a third of it already. It's so handy for so many little different projects where pins get in the way. You can just sew straight over the top of this. So thank you, Catherine. Loving it. I'm going to get that in today. I've got my waistband secured, and I've just ironed my hem. I turned it up twice to give it a little bit of weight because of the French terry. It kind of curls a little bit at the bottom, so I thought the weight would help. I went to get my measuring tape, and I thought, hang on, what I want it to be is actually really even with my pattern of the fabric. So I've turned it up twice, and hopefully it will work out super duper even, so there's a little scallop at the bottom. Okay, fingers crossed it's all going to stay nice and neat and straight. Well, that is a lovely little success. I think I'll get a lot of joy and a lot of wear out of that elemental skirt. I thought I'd keep going with the French terry and make a matching sweater. So I've already got the Billy sweatshirt from Tilly and the Buttons cut out, and I was going to keep going with this French terry and do the do the neckband and the cuffs in this really lovely chunky purple. However, I found all the pieces except for the neckband, so I'm just going to put that aside for the moment and do a little pivot. I have lots of things cut out ready to go, but I don't feel like sewing them. So I also have a piece of beautiful fabric that is bringing me joy, and I want to do something with it, so I'm going to go with that. I have got the Florence dress from Merchant at Mills, the paper pattern cut out. I got it printed in PDF, and I looked up my size, I've cut out the pattern, and I think I'd like to have a go at that. I've cut out my Florence from this. It's kind of a seersucker texture, but it feels a bit, it feels like a cotton linen blend. Anyway, beautiful, joyful colours, and I do love gingham. I've got my markings on, I've got my interfacing on, but I just made my first error. I put in some darts that go along the back, and I've put them in on the wrong side. So I've got to do a little unpicking, and then I think that means it's time to take a break. I noticed bit wobbly. Well, I've had a really great day sewing. It's amazing what you can get done when you take the pressure off yourself. I've had a delightful day. I've even done a couple of little repairs while I had the correct colour thread in. I made a little repair to the back of my favourite Marnie blouse. Almost the same fabric, but not quite. I also did a little repair with a bag I have that I keep in my handbag for shopping. All those little things that you have on your mind to do, but it takes you months to get around to it. And my Florence dress is well underway. I've done the neckband, and I've just done the buttonholes on the back, and I was so pleased when I looked in my stash of buttons. Look how close this matches with my buttons. And these were picked up from an op shop, so very pleased with that. And I feel a lot better than I did this morning, but a bit tired, so I think I'm gonna call it a day before I start making some big mistakes that are harder to fix, and enjoy my evening. I hope you are enjoying whatever you're doing, being kind to yourself too, and enjoying what you're creating. Bye for now.